Yes. So you're talking about anticipating customer needs by tracking buyer trends, isn't it?
Yes.
So what is that? What do you think about it?
Yeah. Basically, the problem is predicting the customer needs by using the tracking like buyer trends. Usually in any, for example, we can take a retail chain or a wholesale chain, store chain. So they track the customer needs or predict the customer needs by following the buyer trends. Like buyer trends is just like a comparison of industry data over the set time period. So they can compare the data like certain time period. So they can predict like how the like customer demand will be, how the customer needs will be. So based on the buyer trend, like buyer trends, they usually like anticipate the customer needs. But the problem is even by using buyer trends also, they can't able to anticipate the customer needs in this case.
Okay. So what's the solution you're proposing?
My solution is like not only depending on these buyer trends. So they have to like if you only depend on this, they have failed in getting customer feedback and also interaction with the customer. So few solutions, like few points is for not only like which product we need to sell to like satisfy customer in the future. So look for the problem, what is the current situation we are facing, what are the lacking things, so we can overcome the like things by identifying the what are the lacking things, identify and solve it, and then you then go to the customer satisfaction or identifying the customer needs, and also pay attention on the customer needs by getting the like feedback and interaction. So a few retail stores, like they sending the offers through mails, and also whenever they come to claim the offer, they'll ask the customer their feedback, how the like are their offers and the how the product do you satisfy. So interaction is also one solution by getting a like effective feedback from the customer, so that they can grasp few points.
The system would help you to capture the feedback, right? What you're saying is perfect, right? So, yes, so you need to have some kind of system where you can capture the trend.
Customer feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. And also let the customers try before they buy. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, like here we have like Costco wholesale, for example. In every aisle, like wherever the food section aisle, they offer the like few like sample, so taste it, so they can like taste the they'll give the feedback immediately, like how it is. Even they not even give the feedback, we can observe their response by. So is it going to be good the product or not, like the customer does like the product or not, we can grasp from the customers while giving like the sample or anything. So through that also we can identify the customer needs. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, and also few customers they return the items, like whenever they are not satisfied. When they are returning the items or the products, we can ask them to give what is like what's the problem with this. So by noting those all those or asking the feedback, we can also like predict the customer needs.
Okay.
Yeah. These are the few like points I got, like
which are good. No? That's good. Yes, I think so. See, I'm just trying to expand to this. Okay, so let's say if you're trying to talk about say dresses, for example, right? So dresses too will change based on everybody's interest, right? Now,
Yes.
and everybody has different. So how do you decide what's right for you, right? I mean, you in the sense you are a seller, right? So everybody will talk about every other things.
Mm.
Then how do you take that up? How do you decide what to reject, what to uh,
As
uh,
a customer or a retailer?
no, as a retailer.
Okay, as a
So you
retailer.
have, yeah, as a retailer, there will be multiple customers, right? Hundreds of
Yes.
customers will give their feedback. Then how
Yes.
do you know which feedback to take?
Like I'll like observe the common point in the feedback most probably.
Mm-hmm.
So focusing on the common point, we can change what is the common point. So not if we
You
like,
also need to evaluate with the
yeah,
industry, right? In the sense what's
yes,
happening in the market,
yes, the
right?
current market trends.
So
Yes,
you also need to have input from the experts, right? The so-called experts, so like fashion designers in this case,
yes,
right? The fashion magazine. What does fashion magazine talk about, right? Yes.
yes.
Then what else?
I try to make a like solution for reducing inventory cost and obtaining
Okay,
supply
awesome. Yes,
discount,
let's do that.
but I don't know like I got the correct solution or not, but I have noted few points like how to reduce the inventory cost, separately, obtaining supplier discount separately and reducing inventory cost separately.
Mm-hmm. So see, what happens is you're trying. So this is like complementary in the sense
Mm-hmm.
uh, supply discount means what? When you buy more, you get discount, right?
Yes,
When
bulk.
you, correct. So when you buy more from customer, you get discount, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And thing is, when you buy more, you have problem of putting them together,
Yeah, we need to maintain the inventory for
right? You have to maintain, so that will
long time.
involve cost,
Yes.
right? That will
Yes.
involve cost.
Yes.
So here, how do you balance it? If you order less, okay, your inventory maybe let's say if you are based on your daily consumption, you are ordering. Okay,
Yes.
if you're ordering based on daily consumption, then your inventory holding cost is zero because morning you're getting, by evening you are finishing it. So holding cost is zero. You don't need to put any security, you don't need to put any space and things like that. But the
Yes.
problem is that if you order daily, you will not get discount. You get
Yes.
discount when you order in bulk.
Yeah,
Right?
whenever you order in bulk, then only you'll get the discounts from the supplier.
Correct. So your objective here is to find the right quantity.
Okay.
Okay, your objective is to find the right quantity. So system will tell you. Okay, so
Mhm.
okay, it's like this. Let me draw something and talk about it. Let's say okay. So let's say this is the quantity. Okay, and this is cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you talk about a cost per unit,
Mm-hmm.
as you go more quantity, right, the cost per unit will be less. As you order less quantity, cost will be more. This is a
Yes.
supplier discount, right? Supplier discount, let's say SD, I call it. Okay. Inventory holding cost. Inventory holding cost will be less when you have low quantity. So this will go something like this.
Okay. Yes.
Less inventory, zero cost. As you keep on increasing inventory, the cost will go up.
Yes.
Right? So inventory holding cost all include security, space, wastage. If you buy more, there will be a lot more wastage, right? So that's
Yes.
why when we go, we buy for a week, right? We don't buy for a year, right? If you want to buy vegetables, you will not buy vegetables for a year, right? Because
Yeah, perishable goods only like for
yes.
less
So
time.
even see, perishable goods will have less years, okay, less time, but for the everything will have an expiry date,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
you know, and you may not have so much of space to store. Let's say if you want to buy 100, 200 kg of rice, you also need space to put those 200 kg of rice, isn't it?
Yes.
So there could be problem with space as well, right? So multiple things. So that's why we don't, we probably take only for a week or so, right? So, you get a graph something like this. So the system should tell you, okay, so this is the actual, we call it sweet spot, right? Where both the cost is minimum.
Yes.
If you add, okay, this is what you get if you add the cost. So this is where, okay, where, the supplier discount is maximum and inventory cost is minimum possible given situation. Okay, because if you buy anything less than this, your discount will be way less. If you buy more than this, your cost will be high.
Yes.
Right? So you need something in between.
Yes.
Right? This is about supply discount. So you need system that will help you to predict the usage.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question? Shall we move ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. So we then discussed yesterday, right? Before we ending, like what are different steps that we need to keep in mind when you're working. So first you have to understand what's your process, right? Then you talk about the business objective. What is the business objective? Why should you work on it, right? First, what's your role? Then second, why should you work on it? What's the objective? What is that they expect from you? Then the scope of the work, right? How much work to develop. Then talk about the plan, right? So now you know the exact thing that you need to develop. Then you need to figure out the plan, right? The business plan. Then you need to get the detailed requirements. Okay. Then support the technical implementation. So here you are like a consultant. You're available for them to answer the questions if they have. And also you will be, if they, like you can also verify if they're building according to the plan or not. Okay, then you implement the solution, and finally you evaluate the objective of developing the software is met, right?
Yeah.
Objective, yeah. Okay, so these are the business analysis steps. Okay, and I told you right before that we are following IBA, International Institute of Business Analysis, and as per the process, IBA process, these are the steps that we are supposed to follow. Okay, and so we will follow these steps. So now we are, yesterday, or no, I mean, yesterday when I say the last session when we met, we spoke about different steps, okay, in software industry, like, the role of different teams and the role of BA there, right?
Yeah.
So, so the same role now, same stuff we'll talk about, but we'll talk about in terms of a structure, a formal approach, right? So, like when you say enterprise analysis, it is about analyzing the business and coming out with the requirements. Elicitation is going and getting the requirements from your customer. Stakeholders, yes. And then you're analyzing, documenting is, the steps that's called requirement analysis. And finally, the UAT and validation. Okay, you implement a solution and also you go and validate if the solution that was implemented is being met or not.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the 4 steps. Okay, and these happens in sequence, like one after another. And then you have a couple of other steps, which are planning and monitoring, and requirements management and communication. These are something which happens in parallel. So planning is done for every step, right? Anything that you do, whether you're doing enterprise analysis or elicitation or requirement analysis, you have to plan, isn't it? And monitor in the sense, whatever you have planned, the execution is on the same line. So that's what we do in monitoring.
Okay.
So your planning and monitoring is working. Okay. And this will happen at every stage. That's why it's something which runs across all the 4 stages. And then you have management and communication. Management is the end objective of all these 4 steps. You have to, present it to the respective stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
Right.
Yes.
So that's called communication. You're communicating. So okay. So these are like planning, monitoring. If you count them separately, it becomes 2. Then the 4, and then the management and communication again. If you count them separate, it becomes 2. Right. So these are the 8 steps that we perform. Planning and monitoring goes together because whatever you plan, you are monitoring the same thing. So is your things going according to plan or not? Okay. So whatever you are managing, same thing you're communicating to your team, to your stakeholders, to your customers, everyone. I mean, not everything will be communicated based upon the work. Okay. So maybe enterprise analysis you have to share with the CXO, right? Analysis you will be sharing with your stakeholders and your technical team, right? So requirement analysis will be shared with your technical. So depending upon the work, you will be sharing with the different teams there.
Teams. What is underlying competencies?
Underlying competencies are the expertise that you need to build as a BA. Okay. And these are the expertise. Okay. It says that you have to focus on root cause, not on the symptoms. We need to arrive at the root cause. We need to figure out what is the root cause of any problem, not just talking about the symptoms. Okay, because when you look at the root cause, that's when you will be able to solve, any problem here. And then business improvement. Okay, so we need to focus on business improvement, not on IT improvement, IT change. Okay, anything and everything that we do, we have to do from the business perspective. Okay. From the business perspective, what is good? Okay. Then you have creative options, not prescribed solutions. Okay, we need to focus. So whenever we are planning or we are giving a solution, look at the creative options. That means every problem is different. Yes. Okay. Every problem, even though it could be company in the same domain and facing same problem, but the reason that they will be facing the problem is different. So your objective is to provide specific solution. Prescriptive means what? There is a fever, you have this medicine. Or headache, you have
standard solution.
Right? So that standard solution doesn't work. Yes. Okay. In medicine also people talk about, right? For example, if you talk about say, the dosage also they'll verify, right? So tablet could
Yeah,
be same.
500.
Yeah, 500
Solo
mg, 200 mg, 5 mg. So these, so see, tablet is same, but depending upon the severity of the problem, you are increasing or decreasing the dosage, right?
Yes.
That's an example of creative solution.
Yes.
Okay?
And can you give me an example for this business improvement, not IT system change, like
Correct.
not IT
So,
system change?
correct. So see when we're doing enterprise analysis, right? So example, the 6 problems that we discussed, right? See,
Yes.
never in those 6 problems we focus on IT. We never start with we need a system, right? We need
Yes.
to understand the buyer trend. We need to reduce the total cost. We need, the orders are not getting captured. We need to fix that. So your starting point is always a business problem. You don't
Yes. Yes.
start. So generally in English we say, right, if you have a nail, if you have a hammer, you'll start hitting, everything, correct? So no, I mean, that's not the case. So you should always start from the business, okay?
Yes.
What problem business is facing, okay? Yes, you will ultimately, come to IT solution, but that IT solution is more specific than saying, okay, I need to build a CRM, okay, or I need to build, a transportation solution. No, what is your problem? Okay, that will also decide the features that you need. So it says that always start from business improvement. How do I improve my business?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other question you have? Okay.
No.
So now we're talking about feasible requirements. Okay. So see, as a business analyst, your job is not to promise, make tall promises to your customer. Okay. Whatever is feasible only you will recommend and you will tell. You will not talk about things which are not feasible, because whatever you do, right, you have to, end of the day, you have to implement that. Okay, you have to implement also. So that's why we are not talking about the suggestions. We are talking about real solution which can solve their business problem. And one more thing we discussed was, as a business analyst, you have to think of entire life cycle. So see, right from enterprise analysis till assessment, deployment, assessment, we are involved. So, you don't come in like guest and say something and go away, right? Because whatever you say, you will be held accountable for that.
Yes.
So we are trying to, okay, look at entire end-to-end, or what you call the entire life cycle of a product, and you are responsible for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Negotiation. So this is, again, we discussed briefly. See, when you have 2 different stakeholders, okay, and they're talking different things, so you don't
I don't like,
so yeah, correct. So you don't just ignore that. Okay, so you're not trying to negotiate in the sense, what that okay, like when you have 2 people talking 2 different things, okay, let's come to a middle point. That's called negotiation, right? So let's say if I'm saying 1, you're saying 10, so let's negotiate and come to 5. That's called negotiation, right? So here it is negotiation, but what is right for the business?
Yes.
Okay, we talk about what is right for the business. Okay, we are not trying to avoid the conflict. Oh, this fellow always says something opposite, let me not talk to him. He's a stakeholder, correct? So if you just stakeholder, you have to listen to him. You never know, that person might be saying something which is more relevant. Okay, even in one time out of 10 times, if he says it's more relevant, okay, it becomes important for you to give importance to that person, isn't it?
Yes.
So we try to negotiate and see what is right for the business. Don't try to ignore, right, or avoid.
Yeah.
Okay, you never know, you might be avoiding something which is which maybe you're missing something crucial point.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last point says that business agility, not perfection. See, when you're trying to build such applications, it is not possible to build to perfection everything.
Yeah. 100%.
100%. Right? You'll say, okay, I will prepare 100% for the interview, then I look for the interview. That 100% will never happen. Okay.
Yes.
So what it says is be agile. Okay. Try to do things quickly and move ahead. Okay. Don't simply, okay, wait for, perfection. Let me do this 100%, then I will go to market. That will never happen.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it makes sense.
Awesome. Okay, so these are the that you need to build yourself. Okay, now there are 4 industry trends, okay, which you need to be aware of. Okay, and these are trends for IT industry. So if you want to be in IT industry, you need to be aware of these trends. Okay, how technology is shifting from one kind of technology, other kind of technology, or how as a BA, what's the role that is changing and things like that.
Like advancement of technologies.
Yes, yes. So what are different advancement of technology? We'll spend some time. Okay, we'll spend some time to understand about it. Okay.
Okay.
So see, if you talk about the future technologies, right? People are talking about IoT, machine learning, big data. These are the technologies that we are. So as a business analyst, you should be aware of these things. What impact this can have on your work also.
Okay.
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 Okay. What kind of impact it can have on your work? So what is IoT? IoT is about internet, connecting your hardware device to internet, basically. Okay, you are connected.
Yeah, you can switch on your fan from outside.
Right. So see, you could switch on the fan before also. You had the remote control or the switch, but now you are using internet device. So something which is connected to internet.
Yes.
So connecting your devices to internet is called your IoT, Internet of Things. Okay. So for that you need to have some kind of sensors also to know. Okay. Mostly, let's say the one of the important things that people are talking about, okay, is in transportation. Okay, so the perishable goods we move from one place to another, right? So
yes.
Perishable goods needs to be stored at a certain temperature. Okay.
Yes.
Every fruit, vegetable, like bread and things like that, they have a certain temperature. Okay.
Yes, we need to maintain
In refrigerator, we put say one temperature and we put stuff. But actually, if you look at the factories and retail stores and things like that, they will have different compartments for storing different stuff.
Yeah, control temperature for each specific item.
Correct. Okay. So when you're moving, from one, let's say, when you're moving from one location to another location, okay, so let's say you have to have a truck which is which has this AC refrigeration, right? And let's say if you're moving because of something, okay, the AC stopped working, let's say, the temperature is not able to increase or maintain the temperature.
Okay.
The driver may not know, right? And driver is driving, and and first of all, those trucks are more expensive than normal trucks. It uses a lot of energy, and the temperature is not maintained. So your product will get spoiled by the time it reaches the destination. So what happens is, people fit these sensors, okay, which will read the temperature, and it uploads to the internet. Okay. Anyone in the head office can actually see the temperature. What is the temperature in all the trucks? Right? And of course, if you're running multiple trucks, it is not possible to track individually. So you might add some conditions. Okay, so every minute the temperature data is uploaded, and you can have a program which will keep track. So you will give the range. Okay, the temperature should be between A and B, and if the temperature is between A and B, the program will work fine. But moment the temperature either drops or goes up, it will alert, will send a signal, will send an email. You can program it that way, isn't it? Yes. So the person sitting in head office will know the temperature is going down. He can call the driver, and driver can go to the nearest service station to fix it. Right? Yes. So you have someone who live tracking each and every container, each and every truck, temperature here. So there's a lot of cost saving things. See, if retailers, if the food gets spoiled, they have to increase the price of the other things so that they make their profit, right? So ultimately, each of these wastage actually increases our cost only. If the wastage goes down, the prices of the commodities will also go down, isn't it?
Yes.
So it is trying to help us. Okay, so your IT, and because of IT, now if you're sending data every minute, so imagine the kind of data that you have, right? And that is important because in 48 hours, maybe one time the things might get damaged, or sometimes there's no damage also. But you need to store all the data, correct? So the amount of hard disk or space that you need to capture all this data is very huge. Okay, so we talk about big data these days, and big data doesn't only talk about such structured data. We also talk about like audio, video. People upload. They say that every minute, I think every minute, 10 million photos are uploaded every day. On every minute, 10 million photos are uploaded on Facebook. Imagine 10 million photos every minute. So imagine in a day, Facebook has to maintain so much of data. I uploaded photos which 10 years back is still there on Facebook, correct? So imagine the kind of data that is, sorry?
They're maintaining cloud storage.
Correct. So they need to maintain everything in a big data, and everything has to be up and running, right? Even I should be able to track my 10-year back photos also.
Yes.
Right. So imagine the kind of data, not only the data they are handling, but also the speed at which they deliver your product. They have trillions and trillions of photos where I can easily search for your photo, right? So of course, that's the world we are getting into. It's all about data. Okay. And the second point we're trying to talk about is that there's a movement, okay, from project to product. Okay. Companies also, okay, they don't want to work on project. They say that this is the object, this is the business problem. Help me to solve it. Okay. So when we say okay, so we have discussed, right? First, tell what is the difference between project and the product?
What?
Difference between project and product?
Project and product. Project is like it takes a long time than product. Like project has no
Product
like
is end to
definite
end.
time. Product has a definite time.
Yes. So product is end to end. Okay.
Yes.
Project is a specific objective. So objective is to do this and then, right? For example, what we're doing now is a project. Okay. You give me a topic, I'll talk about it and we're done. But product
Okay.
is, from the day you interacted and they'll take care of your resume building, your training, until you get a job, they'll work with you, isn't it? That's a product, right?
Okay.
So it is end to end. Till so between that there could be multiple product. People like will come and go, right? Somebody else will come and do resume for you. That's the project for them. Training is a project for me. But getting your job is the product. Okay, it's a end-to-end product, right? We discussed, right? So the focus is really on the value these days. So people talk about value. Okay, what value am I getting? Now, if you do the training, but if you don't get a job, what's the point of doing training? Isn't it? So that's why focus these days is on product. Okay, give me a product which is valuable to me, which has some value to me. So that's how the businesses are growing. Business are more focusing on end to end. Probably 10 years back, you may not see such. Okay, so we are focusing on end to end delivery. Okay, so companies also, they like to work on products. So in new kind of setup, business analysts are also called as product managers. Okay, so the product management will be in great demand in future.
Okay.
Okay.
Product management.
Right. And then we have agile and lean practices. We will talk about in detail in our session. Okay, once we are done with the core BA, we will talk about the agile process. How is agile process different than traditional software development and things like that. Okay, so here focus is more on agility, as I said, right? I want something that is delivered today. Now, nobody has time to wait for 6 months, 9 months, 1 year for a product. Okay.
Yes.
They'll say, okay, you give me, okay, you take 1 year to develop the entire thing, but you give me something every month so that I can start using it. Isn't it?
Okay.
So that's what the whole thing is about, how to be more agile. Agile means you're delivering almost every month. Okay. So the focus is more on agility. Okay. So we will, again, we have a complete topic on this. We'll spend a couple of days to talk about it.
Okay.
And of course, the BA role is evolving. Okay. Focus is less on, on the document, but on more on the requirements. Okay. And your job is going to be more and more shorter.
Okay.
Right? More and more shorter. You need to use more and more quick to deliver. Okay. So it's more on delivery.
Okay.
So yes, so that's about the introduction to BA. Now we will move to the second part of our discussion. Any question before we move to the next part of the presentation?
No, I have doubt on this agile. You said like you'll explain before, like in coming sessions.
After BA topics are done, we'll spend some time on agile. Yeah, we'll talk about it in detail.
Okay.
PP2 is coming. Okay. So we've been talking about requirements, right? But what is requirement? Okay. So I'll give you time to go read through these pictures and tell me what you understand from this.
How the customer explained it, how the project leader understand it. What operation installed last? Like everyone understand in different way.
Yes, that's the first point. But any other point?
Like there is no like. I think everyone understanding their own specific way and formed in their way. Like we need to like whoever like receiving the requirements or taking the requirements, they need to understand the stakeholder perspective also. Yeah. That's the points I got.
Okay. Anything else? Think?
No. If they are like, I think stakeholder is explained to project leader, and then project leader is explained to the analyst designer, some analyst. So the process is like from the stakeholder to end to the, like one by one they explaining the conversation, and the things are changed from one person to another person. Like if they have like combinedly they can discuss their requirements, maybe they'll get the like expected result as a stakeholder, as per my perception. Or like whatever the stakeholder explaining to the project leader, if he keeps the data each word to word what he explained, so maybe it's possible the final product will be as required as stakeholder.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it? Okay. So, right, the first point that you mentioned is perfectly fine. Okay. So, what we are seeing is that everybody, okay, is explaining things differently, right? So,
Yes.
okay, so you have customer who explained, then so everybody, okay, is understanding differently, and we can't blame them because they have different job, right? So their
Yes.
job is to develop software, right? The developer's job, right?
Yes.
And this job is to design. Okay, they don't focus much on talking to customer and getting to know what they want, right? So that's why we need someone like BA who's dedicatedly hired, okay, to understand the requirement. Okay, they are dedicatedly hired to understand the requirement. Point one. Point two, if you see the last picture, okay, the customer, compare the first and the last picture, the way customer explained and what customer really wanted. Okay, see, everybody understood it wrong. Okay, that is fine. Okay, probably expected because they are not expert at talking to customer and getting to know the requirement. But customers
Yes.
themselves explain it wrong what they really want. Right? So the point we're trying to drive here is customers also doesn't know, okay, what they want.
What we need. Yes.
Yes, and it is true because see, now Now you are here to learn BA, right? You are here to learn BA because you don't know BA.
Yes.
If you had known about it, why would have been here? So if customer knew exactly what they want, why will they come to you? Right?
Yes.
So our job, my job, is to understand what exactly you need. Okay. Now, what you know, you may not tell me because you think, oh, he's an expert in BA, he will know it already. Why should I repeat him? And things that you don't know, how can you tell me? Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
same thing goes with your stakeholders. See, stakeholders, okay, they have not seen the solution. They are facing the problem. They can tell you about the problem, not about the solution.
Yes.
Okay, so you cannot trust or believe what they are saying. Okay, as a business analyst, okay, as a business analyst, your job, okay, is
As a BA, we need to get the requirements
you need to get the
correctly.
requirements. Yes, you need to talk to customer, and you need to, I mean, customer stakeholder, and probe, question.
Yes.
And your job is to get this last picture in the first place.
Yes.
Okay, the picture that you have in the last has to be in the first place. If you can get that thing done, I would say 70% of your job is done.
Yes.
The rest 30% is about making sure that everybody is on the same page. Since you are dedicatedly hired for this, then you have to, your job is to make sure that everybody talks about same thing, and picture will be much different. Okay,
Yes.
the first thing is that the last picture has to be at the first place.
Yes.
Okay, and then make sure that everybody has same picture all across. So this is the requirement, and this is the story about the requirement. What is the requirement? This is the textbook definition. Textbook says requirement is a condition or capability needed by a stakeholder to solve a problem or meet or achieve an objective. Okay, so it is a condition or capability. Capability could be the software feature or software capability. Condition means a software that is able to do something that you want to. Okay, so the condition capability that must be met or processed by a system to satisfy a contract, standard, specification, etc. So when you say standard contract, government says you have to do this. So that is a standard. Okay, so you went into some contract with somebody else. That's also contract. So you need to fulfill the contract. You need to adhere to the standards. You need to meet the specification, right? So this is what we talk about when we say the condition or the capability. So your requirement is the condition or the capability, okay, that you have to develop.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. So there are mainly at a high level 3 types of requirements: business requirement, user requirement, and system requirement. Business requirement are higher level goals of objectives of the business, of the enterprise, of the business. Okay, so getting more profit is a business requirement. Reducing cost is a business requirement. Now, then comes the user requirement. Okay, the capabilities that is required by the user in order to meet the business objective. Okay, so business requirement is the starting point. Then comes the user requirement. What capabilities the user need so that user can help company. When you say company wants to do that, everybody in the company has to work in that direction, isn't it?
Yes.
So to work in that direction, what do you need? Okay, so that's the user requirement. So you're talking to the user and understanding the requirement. And based on what they need, you need to give them the tools or the software. Okay, so the software requirement is the software requirement. Okay, is the feature or the conditions or the capability that you need to build in a software which user can use to meet the business requirement.
Yes.
Okay. So at a high level, we have 3 requirements, but IIBA talks about 6 types of requirements. So you have business and user as it is. The software requirement or the technical specification, also they are called as, is generally classified into 4 parts. The software is divided into 4 parts. First is called functional requirement. Functional requirement is about the features. Okay, what we generally call as system requirement is your functional requirement. Talks about the functionalities. That's why it's called functional. What functionalities you need to build. Then you talk about quality of service. Quality of service is also called as non-functional. So you talk about the quality of the work. Okay, so quality of service means the functionalities that you're going to develop, how good are those functionalities? Okay, so for example, you need to save new patient data. When the new patient comes to your clinic, you need to save the data to the database. That's a functionality. Functionality is to save the data. Quality of service is, okay, when you click on submit, how much time does it take? Let's say you click on submit, it goes on saving for 5 minutes. Not accepted, isn't it? So quality of service is about the features or non-functionalities or the quality of your functionalities, how well your functionalities are working. Okay, so functionalities, okay, is your functional requirement, and the quality of functionalities is your quality of service or the functionalities requirement. Okay, then we have 2 other requirements called assumptions, constraints, and implementation. Assumptions, are you making any assumptions? Okay, are you making any assumptions? Are you you say that this will be used in such and such scenario, the data is by default this. If you are making some assumptions, not always, but sometimes you might be making some assumptions. So in case you're making any assumptions, you have to again note it down and put it in the beginning itself. Then you talk about implementation requirements. Okay, anything that is specific to implementation. So somebody will say that you need to develop using Java only. You need to have Oracle database only. Those are example of
requirements.
Yes. Okay. So anything specific to the implementation. Anything specific to implementation is your implementation requirement.
Okay.
Anything which is specific. Otherwise, okay, we don't put it, right? So see, technically speaking, assumptions constraints are like putting some kind of constraint, and nobody wants constraint, right? So if it is required only, we will have, otherwise we will not have. Point 1. Point 2, implementation requirement also, we should not tell the technical team what and how they should develop.
Yes.
We should tell them the capabilities. Okay, how that needs to be done, you have to leave to them because they are the expert. But sometimes due to some reason, okay, you will tell them. Okay, now if they have a valid reason, only then. Generally, implementation requirements should not be there. That's not the best practice.
Okay.
But sometimes, yes, we do, do that. Yes. So these are 6 types of requirements. Now we will have to understand it better. So requirement are the answer to the questions. What will this project change that is required in order to deliver the objectives? Okay. Change can be create, update, or delete something. The focus is on what will change, now how will it change. How we have to leave it to the technical team to do it. So your implementation requirement is also, kind of how. That's why we are not supposed to talk about it. Yes, in some rare cases, yes, we can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Now this will be the last topic for. Let's see this. Okay. So I want you to read this.
Okay. How to define scope on software development projects. Like the story of A2LL. A2LL, the German social services and unemployment software system, was developed over the course of several years by T-Systems, a software department of state telecommunications company, along with Prosos, a smaller company of about 30 developers located in the town of Hurton. The final product was delivered in the last quarter of 2004 and went live on Jan 1st, 2005. The system consisted of web browser front end, while the back end was based on 16 servers with 4 processors each. Upon the deployment of the system at several large German cities, including Cologne, Hamburg, Frankfurt, and Berlin, the users at the welfare offices started reporting serious problems with the software. Some of the problems encountered are listed on the next.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what do you understand from this? We'll go to the problems list, but what do you understand from here?
Okay. Let me read again. Okay. First, a software is developed by the German social services, and the users find like problems and serious issues while using the software.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's the like whole concept of this sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. So see, as you said, we're talking about software development. They developed software for German government, and they wanted to do the employment exchange or employment providing agency, right? And they implemented in cities like Cologne, Hamburg, and Frankfurt and Berlin. Okay, and then at the moment they implemented, they started facing problem. Okay, so these are the problems. Okay, now read through this, and these are all functional type of problems. Read and tell me if you have any question and understanding why it is a functional thing. Okay, read and let me know.
If data entered into the form was incomplete, the system automatically deleted the record after about 3 or 4 weeks. Account number that were less than 10 digits in the land were filled zeros at the end of the string rather than at the beginning. System was okay. Basically, functional requirement is like technical requirement. So whatever the system bug description is saying that there are some technical issues while they entering the data into the software. Yeah. System was not capable of processing a person who received too much money report. Yeah.
So you understood all the features?
Yeah, few are not related problems to the previous like description. Like system was not registering the people properly with their insurance companies. Could not cope with one-time payments like this.
So no, you go by line, you go feature by feature, and tell me if you understood or not.
Okay. If data entered into the form was incomplete, the system automatically deleted the record after about 3 or 4 weeks. If we enter data like partially, not completely, like it will be deleted within 3 or 4 weeks automatically by the software. Do I need to like identify, is it a functional requirement
It is
or
already
not?
given, it is a functional.
Yeah.
I'm saying, did you understand why it is functional, what it is? Did you understand or not?
Yeah, functional requirement is basically technical requirement,
No,
right?
why this, what you just read, why it is called functional? Did you get it? See, you read something,
Mm.
okay? Is that a problem? Did you understand what is the problem?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, why this is functional? Did you understand that?
Um, because it's a technical issue, that's why it's a functional requirement.
Everything will be technical
As
issue. No, if you're developing software, everything is technical. But what is functional? Functional is about capabilities, functionalities.
okay.
So did you understand why it is functionalities?
Capability is like it's not storing the entered data. Does it, because it's functional.
Yes, it is not doing what it is supposed to do. It's not. The feature was when you click on save, it should save everything, right? That's what save means. But it is not able to save. When it is not able to save, it means that
It's
it's a
not.
functionality.
Yes.
Okay? It's supposed to do certain task and it's not doing the task. The task is being done, but not as good as what you expect. It is quality of service non-functional. If the task is not getting done, it is functionality problem. If the task is not as good as what you expect, it becomes non-functionality problem.
Okay.
So here you're expecting it to happen certain way. It's not happening. So it is functional problem. Same thing. Next, you say that if you have a, let's say you have assigned 10 digits for account number, but if you have
Yes.
less than 10 digit to give, 6 digit, 7 digit, 5 digit, then the spaces should be added in the front, isn't it? But
Yes.
this is adding spaces at the back. So
Yes.
if account number is 3225223, it becomes 32252230000, which is wrong way of giving numbers, right? Account numbers. So
Yes.
it is also a functionality problem.
Yes.
Systems not capable of producing an analysis of variance report. Analysis of variance is okay, it's a statistics term, but for a moment you assume that you are looking for some report and you do not have that report built in. Functionality problem. Same thing, person who received too much of money, okay, that report is not there in the system. Functionality problem. Okay, system could not cope up with one-time payment. That means you do not know what to do with one-time payment. You have not built the feature. Functionality problem. System did not include the functionality deal with the deduction of income from small jobs. There is no functionality to do that. So when you don't build it, or if you build it wrongly, it is functionality problem. System not getting registered, system was not registering people properly with their insurance companies. That feature is not there again. Functionality problem. System could not properly calculate insurance rates, resulting in 25 million euros per month overpayment to the insurance companies. It made an overpayment, so there's no way to capture that as well. So there's no way to capture. So either the feature was not built. If you look at the first two, feature is there, but it's not working as per expectation.
Properly, yeah.
Right? And the last ones are, in fact, missing. Those things are not there at all. So that's again a functionality problem. You have not built it. Okay. Now these are non-functionality problem. Extremely slow response time of the software. Software is not responding properly. So it is a functionality problem. Sorry, non-functionality problem. See, it is there. Okay. But it is not working fast enough. Okay. Non-functional. Extremely slow data times, data entry times. The data entry functionality is there, but it is extremely slow, too slow. Quality of service or non-functional. Document printing was incompatible with many local stations. Now see here. Document printing was incompatible. Still here it looks a functionality problem. But with many local stations, that means with at least few it's working. So if it is working with few, that means functionality is there.
Yeah.
If it was said that document printing was not at all working, was not at all incompatible, it's a functionality problem. You have not developed it correctly. But it says that with most of the stations, so that means it's working with some. If it is working with some, the functionality is there, right? And it is working also. Otherwise, they would have said not working at all. So if it is working with some and not working with some, it is non-functionality problem, not functionality problem.
Yes.
So what do you learn from this project? What do you learn? Like, you know, if you are a project manager of this project, okay, of this product, or you are a business analyst for this product, what do you learn from this? See, mistakes. Project was completed in Q4 and January it was released. First week of January, first day of January was released. Not good. You need to have enough time to test it, right? So the testing is important. And testing is nothing but meeting the requirements. You have set a requirement. How do you know the requirement that you have set is being developed? You give the requirements to the developers and you went to sleep. And when you woke up, you took it and gave it to the customer. Right? That's what it looks like. So you don't know whether developers did correct job. You don't know whether you gave the right requirements to them or not. So the problem here could be with BA also. Okay, BA not getting the clarity, good requirements or clear requirements. Okay, so if you look at this account problem here, it looks like incorrect. You say that, okay, there should be 10 spaces and less than 10 is also accepted. Something like that probably you have given as a requirement. Okay, you should not, you should have added that if the number is less than 10, the 0 should be added in the beginning. Probably you said that if number is less than 10, 0 should be added. So the software developer added 0 at the end. Example of incomplete requirement. You told what to do, you told you have to add 0, but where to add 0 you have not told. Incomplete.
Yeah.
Another variance missing, person who received too much data also report missing. All these reports are missing. That means you have not added these requirements. If you had added in the document, developer would have developed it wrongly or correctly. They would have developed it, but you have not put it. That means they didn't know to develop it. So the requirement is Incomplete in first case, your requirement is missing. You have not even captured the correct assignment. Requirement. First one is wrong requirement, right? So it's probably because you have got incomplete requirements, lack of user involvement. You have not involved the users who's going to use your software. You have not done good job of user requirement or involving the user, because they would tell you answer to the most of these questions. Okay, so you have to involve user. You have to give complete requirement. You have to set realistic expectation. December you complete the project and January you launch it. This is totally unrealistic schedule. You need to spend at least 2 to 3 months of testing and making sure that all the information, the product is working fine before you give to the customer. Totally unrealistic expectation, right? And probably you keep changing requirements midway. That's also not good. Once you have given to the development, then the requirements should not change. Okay, and maybe the features you have developed which customers doesn't no longer need it. Okay, so yeah, so last 2 points we can handle using agile, where agile has this method of taking the requirements midway also. Okay, but all these are the problems that probably the BA of the software, A2LL software did, and we should not repeat those mistakes. Always have complete requirement, always involve user, get their signature in the document. We'll talk about it, that we need to get their approval before you pass it on to the technical team. Unrealistic, oh yeah, we can do it. January, we'll release in December itself, right? By January, that's unrealistic. Okay, set the expectation. We cannot do it by January, but if you want to be released at January, let's focus on 50% of the requirement. So let's go with first release in January, second release we can do in March, with remaining. You tell me what is important for us to do. You need by January, we'll deliver only those. The rest we will probably release, we'll add as a service pack or upgrade in March or something like that. That's called setting the expectation clearly. Okay, changing requirements will happen. That's normal. So you have to change the style of working. So you should focus more on agile kind of work. Okay, these are generally the problems that happens with BA. Okay, so what requirements should be gathered? So we talk about functional requirement, data requirements, environmental requirements, user requirement, and usability requirement. Functional requirement is about what product should do, simple. Okay, what feature do you need? What product should do, and that you are delivering in functional. Data is what kind of data you need, type, size. We need GDP data from 100 countries. So that's the data requirement. Okay, because you're building something, okay, for which you need GDP data. So you need to get that, right? That's called data requirement, the data that you need to build. Not every project will need data, right? But some project might need. Functional requirement will be there for all the projects, right? Data requirements, mostly these days we talk about data. So yeah, you might be working with data requirements as well. But again, as this is not mandatory, then we talk about environmental requirement. Environmental requirements means other factors under which your functionalities will work. What is the type of user who's connecting, right? Are they software developers? Are they scientists? Are they doctors? Are they factory workers? Are they managers, right? Because that will tell you how to design the software, right? Social environment, okay? Who is going to coordinate with this, or what kind of collaboration it needs, which other software that it needs to talk to, right? So everything around the software, right? The context of use, in what context it will be used, right? Who is going to use it, which technologies it will work on, right? So all the factors under which the software will work is called as environmental requirements. Then user requirement means the capabilities that user needs, right? And the last one is usability. See, user are the people who's going to work on the software. Usability is the quality of the usability. So when you, as a user, when you see a software, is it easy to work or tough to work? Usability means what features or what kind of mostly talk about UI designs, okay, color schemes, okay. So that's the usability, okay. So goals associated with measures of particular product, okay, usability goals, right? How easy it is to use, right? Some sites you like, sometimes some sites you don't like. Okay, sites that you like have actually focused on the usability requirement. That's what probably you like. What color? They spend a lot of time on choosing color, not that watercolor they feel like they add, right? So color that you choose, the layout that you choose, logo, where to put top, right, okay, bottom, where to put, what should the size of it. All those things matter in terms of usability. You want user to be happy with using your software, not like hate your software. So these are the requirements from functional, data, environmental, user, and usability requirements. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll continue talking about requirements. Okay, any question before we end? No? Okay then. Are you using Android or iOS phone?